Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Politics in Plain English, and today I'm going to be discussing about the events that are going on here in San Diego and all across the border, and that is illegal immigration. We know that right now the Democrats are having a hoopla saying, oh, we got to help these poor children, they're being separated from their families. But you know what? You always have to remember why the Democrats are all of a sudden now coming up in arms worrying about these children. They've actually had more than 20 years to do something about this. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Bush was on the television crying, oh, it's so terrible, what is going on? Well, you know, that's really hypocrisy, because when your husband was in office, he didn't do anything about it either. He kicked the can down the road to the Clintons and the Obamas, and now Trump has to deal with this problem. So don't come out your trick bag talking about, oh, the poor children, because you didn't do anything about it, period. And now we have to understand, why are the Democrats coming up all of a sudden appearing to be so in love with these children when we know that's a lie? Now, how do we know that that's a lie? This is the reason why you know. Democrats were the ones that did the Roe versus Wade. This is the act of having a mother's child ripped out of her womb and just killed. Now, the Roe versus Wade won. And it's been in effect for all these many years, 40, 50 years, they've been in effect. So now a baby can be ripped from the mother's womb, and not only that, they can burn that baby, torch the baby, they kill this baby. Or they may take the body parts from the child and sell them to the highest bidder. Now, does that really sound like someone who cares about these kids? So we have to understand, why are they doing this? And what we have to do is go back in time to slavery. Now, when black people were enslaved, they were free labor. So once they got free, there still had to be a system put in place so that they would not rise up against their former masters. And this happened back in the 60s. This is when the civil rights movement came about, and President Lyndon Baines Johnson at that time said that he would have black people voting democratically for the next 200 years. And how was he going to do that? By simply implementing some of the same tactics they had on the slave plantation as in the cities. And what do they do in the cities that they did on the plantation? Well, they didn't educate their slaves. And so when we look in the cities, the school system in the ghettos are the worst. Those kids perform terribly. So it's just like that. Also, they kept the slave intact through an overseer. The overseer was the one that prevented that the violence was directed on the slaves. He was that was his responsibility, to make sure that none of them left the plantation. So how do they do it here in the city? Well, they have gang members, and these guys are selling drugs, and they're making sure that our kids have a hard time if they do go to school, that they're not going to learn anything in school, but once they get out, there's violence, and they try to get them into the gangs. And once they get into these gangs, and the police comes along, and next thing you know, they go to jail for umpteen years. So there you have, the family is broken up. So what is happening? At the last election, when President Trump got in, he appealed to African Americans. He said, what do you have to lose by voting me into office? You already see your situation has been terrible. It's been democratically controlled hands for years, and nothing has changed. And that is true, because I'm originally from Chicago, and I can tell you for a fact, they never helped us, period, in our communities. That's why I just left and came here to California, and there's a whole different set of problems, but it's better than living back in Chicago. So when we see the Democrats there at the border, they're crying and everything. Well, they're crying because they're looking for new votes, because black people are slowly but surely inching their way up, and they're understanding that the real slave owners and people who are trying to keep them down are the Democrats, the Democratic Party, that don't care about life, period. They don't care about your life, my life, anybody's life. They only care about themselves, the elite at the top. And by the way, the majority of these people who are in Congress, who are supposedly representing us, they all came in poor, but they're leaving out rich. Look at Obama. He's had a book deal. I think they gave him $400 million or whatever. He's gotten deals on top of deals for it, but I believe he's going to have to pay some of this money back. Hopefully it's before he goes to jail. And we can only pray for that, along with Hillary, because they messed that thing up so bad now that it doesn't look like she's ever going to have to pay for this crime. But hopefully her buddies that allowed her to get away with it will. So anyway, this is what's going on. This is why you see these crocodile tears being shed. But I love what President Trump did today. He said, you know what? He said, I am all for not separating families and children. So he said, you know what I want them to do? I want Congress to pass that bill so we can keep families and children together and send them all back at one point together. And I like what Ted Cruz said too. He said, if we keep them together, we can send them back to their home countries faster. That's like 20 days. And right now, the Democrats thing is that, well, we got to put more, you know, we're putting thousands of judges. They're putting judges on the benches and say, yeah, we need more judges. Well, these more judges is really just, you know, they're trying to speed up the system, which is good. They want to speed up the system, but the answer is they have to build a wall. And I love what President Trump said today. He said, you know what? All of these countries that are sending at people over here, Mexico, Central America, and all these other countries that are sending at people over here, he said, you know what? We give you all a lot of money. And you know what? Because you want to be unfair and you want to send these people over here knowing our laws are terrible about immigration, he said, we're not going to give you another dollar, not even a dime. You get rid of your people, then we'll talk about something. And we're getting rid of the NAFTA. He said either we're going to renegotiate or get rid of it, and we're going to have Mexico pay for the wall. Because for too many years, he said, our friends have treated us worse than our enemies. They've been getting over on us like a fat rat. But thank God, Trump has gotten them to reduce the taxes. Now we're down to 21%. A lot of these businesses are coming back. They're giving out bonuses. There's more jobs and what have you than they even have workers. So we want workers, but we want them to come in legally. So thank God for Trump. And let me say, if you get this video, please subscribe and share, because I'm going to do my part continuing. I want to work for the get the election in the midterms. I want to do my part. And so if you get this message, pass it on. Okay? Bye-bye.